Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and this episode is being produced for GoodCrowd.info. Our guest today is Matt Ward, the host of his own show, Art of the Kickstart. Matt, welcome to our show.
Hey, Devin. Thanks so much for having me on.
It's great to have you. I understand that you are joining us today from Chiang Mai, Thailand, which is, I should note, one of my very favorite places on earth. Welcome.
Yes, it is absolutely beautiful. Thanks so much for having me on. We got the different days going on.
That's right. It's tomorrow already. How is tomorrow doing? Let us know what we should expect.
Oh, tomorrow looks quite nice. The weather outside is beautiful, and it's all go.
That's good because it's cold and snowy here, so I will look forward to waking up tomorrow morning and having it be bright and sunny and warm. Thank you for that. So, Matt, tell us how you got started in the crowdfunding world.
So really how I got into crowdfunding was through podcasts. Podcasts changed my life in terms of learning about entrepreneurship, and I wanted to try to do the same and help other people with that. I launched a previous podcast before this called Business and Bootstrapping, but really my passion was always engineering and creating things. So I got into crowdfunding because there was really a lack of effective Kickstarter and crowdfunding podcasts out there. I started a podcast called Art of the Kickstart to help individuals interested in creating their own products by looking at how other people had done it, the tips, the lessons learned, and I've just been interviewing people since then.
That's cool. So give us some examples of some of the people you've talked to on your show.
So some of the cool ones that I've talked to that really apply to this show are what I like to call hybridized business models. Businesses that are doing good and at the same time they're businesses. They're not necessarily non-for-profits. So a couple of the coolest ones I talked to, the New Bay campaign with Richard Rhett, they raised over $167,000 for a really revolutionary outdoor, almost a hammock tent living apartment in one. But the really cool thing about it was they spent so much time down in South America setting up sustainable factories, working with people down there. That's really the focus of what they're doing, is creating sustainable businesses in small rural economies. Another really
very cool. Very, very cool.
There's so many cool ones. That's the great thing about crowdfunding, is there's so many people doing great things. Another guy, Topher White, launched Rainforest Connection, which was basically a business to stop illegal deforestation in rainforests around the world. They use recycled cell phones to track with the microphone when people are actually cutting down trees. They actually raised $167,000 as well.
Wow.
And then Waka Waka Light is the last one, Camille Van Gestel, and his company is completely geared towards helping people in third world countries get electricity, get power, and have the light that they need to do their homework, to do chores around the house. And his company, they've done three crowdfunding campaigns on Kickstarter and a couple in the Netherlands as well. They've raised over $1 million with it. So they're just the absolute example of what you can do with a business for good.
Well, crowdfunding is an amazing tool for entrepreneurs, isn't it?
It's absolutely a game changer. You don't need to go to angels or VCs anymore.
Certainly not to get started. It really helps an entrepreneur get that first capital in that's so dang hard to raise.
And it's more valuable as well because you get the crowd behind you, which A, gets you exposure, but it also gets you customer feedback. So many people are iterating on their products after they create them based on what backers are telling them and making it that much better for it.
Yeah, it does. It accelerates the product development cycle, doesn't it?
It accelerates the product development cycle.
Yeah, it is kind of an amazing tool. At any scale, it seems to me that it has a really positive impact, whether it's your first $5,000 or $50,000 or $500,000. Those are dollars that are so difficult to raise any other way that it really is, like you say, game changing. So what are you doing in Thailand?
So Thailand. So there's a funny story there. Thailand it's a three-pronged reason or a three-pronged adventure. So the first reason is I like to live life like you don't know what's coming tomorrow. I mean, potentially we all could get hit by a bus. We could get cancer in a few years, and you have to live today and live like you're living for something. And I wanted to get outside of the typical grind and get to experience the world. Because my business is completely online with the consulting, with the podcast, I could do that. And there's the second reason is Chiang Mai, it's a hub for digital nomads, digital entrepreneurs that are building businesses online. And I think that's so important if you're building a business to get around other people that are doing it, because they're going to give you such great feedback on what you should do, and that's completely what I've seen. And then last and extremely important as well, it's so inexpensive to live here that I can live here even with my bootstrapped business not making that much money, and I survive. I'm not going to starve.
That is really cool. Really cool. So how long have you been in Thailand?
I've been here about a month and a half at this point, and it's been amazing, from exploring the jungles, climbing mountains, seeing tigers. It's been something I would definitely recommend for people that are trying to save money while building a business.
Yeah, I remember my visit to Chiang Mai very well. Rode an elephant with my wife, and then we went and played with tigers in a pen, and it is just an amazing place, Chiang Mai. So I'm a little jealous tonight thinking about you over there in the sunny weather and enjoying Chiang Mai. Well, we should get back to crowdfunding just a little bit. Tell us a little bit about how people can access your show. How do they find it?
So guys, the best thing that you can do to go to artofthekickstart.com. That's where everything's located. You can find the interview podcast where I have on successful crowdfunders and just go through the strategies, lessons that they can teach people. And if you go to artofthekickstart.com/show, that'll take you to the iTunes page for my new podcast, which is breaking down Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaigns. So if you want to have a page that really converts backers and gets them excited about the product, there's certain things that you need with your headlines, testimonials, product pictures. I try to make that a really short podcast, around 5 minutes, where I'm breaking down current campaigns and answering listener questions. But if you guys go to artofthekickstart.com/GoodCrowd, I put together a little guide that listeners of the show can access in terms of building successful hybridized business models with Kickstarter, with crowdfunding.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for taking the time to do that for our listeners. That's great. Why don't you give us two or three tips here before you go on what are some really important keys to successful crowdfunding?
Well, everyone knows you need marketing. Everyone knows you need a great product. We're going to skip those. Number one, guys, let's go testimonials. Not enough people have testimonials or product user reviews on their Kickstarter campaigns, and they're killer. Let's say your friend tells you about a product and he's like, dude, this is the coolest thing ever. You're going to go buy the product because there's that social support behind it. You need to do the same thing with your campaign. Even if you just take a video camera, get your neighbors on camera using your product, that's going to show people, A, how people react. It's going to give you proof and feedback, and it's going to make your campaign look that much more awesome. Other thing that you need to do, make sure you have awesome pictures, because as a rule of thumb, crowdfunding campaigns, I mean, if you look at the backers pretty much across the board, it's a more hipster, creative crowd. Everybody's a little bit artistic. If you look sloppy on Kickstarter, you're just going to fall through the cracks because people want to see something that's sexy and well done. So great pictures, and then showcase the team. Kickstarter, crowdfunding, it's a community-based thing, and people want to see the startup. They don't want to have they want to have a little business, something they can relate to, not the Fords, the Walmarts, the Best Buys of the world. Show who your startup is, show why you're doing the mission, and you'll get people behind you.
Hence the proverbial couch video, right?
Exactly, the proverbial couch video. I like it. McDonald's even tried to copy that at some point.
Well, listen, Matt, I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us all the way from Thailand. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun over there. We're happy for you. We really appreciate your insights, and it's great to talk to someone who is clever, who is insightful, and who gets crowdfunding. I really appreciate the savvy insights you provided today, and I encourage people to take a minute and go visit your site, subscribe to your podcasts, and learn more about crowdfunding there. Again, your crowdfunding or your podcast is at artofthekickstart.com, right?
That's probably the easiest place. You can find all the podcasts, you can find all the tutorials, guides, and way too many blog posts covering everything crowdfunding. And I love that you called me clever. I've clearly pulled one over on you.
Thanks, Matt. It's great to be with you, and we wish you every success.
Thanks so much for having me on, Devin. It's been great.
All righty, thanks. Let's do some good.